estate endeavors should be a moving experience. Every week, my co-host Melissa Wallace and I will provide you with my team's unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We value the experience of our agents at Boston Connect Real Estate so much that not only will you hear my perspective on real estate topics, occasionally you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced agents at Boston Connect Real Estate. Be a part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you like to listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate.
And good morning to all our South Shore neighbors. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I am joined live and in studio by Sharon McNamara.
Good morning.
How
are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm a little tie-tie, but hey, I'm here.
Yeah, I'm a little tired, and I will apologize to everybody listening. I have a little, itch in the back of my throat. I don't know. What is it? Grass right now, or trees, or hay? I don't know, but I feel like I have allergies all year round, and it just changes. My symptoms change every single day. But so sorry you have to listen to my raspy voice today.
Yeah, raspy voice, but just don't be going.
I know. I have some cough drops here just in case, and I have some tissues. I'm just looking real attractive for anybody watching us on Facebook or YouTube or
Good
Instagram.
Point. Yeah, we're on all of the above. We are on Facebook and YouTube and Instagram. So you can find us all over. You can find us on my channels, Sharon Costa McNamara or BostonConnect.com, McNamara Horton Group, wherever you find us, Boston Connect Real Estate, of course. And we have Tim in studio. Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, ladies. Good morning. Good morning.
How was your week? Did you have a good week?
Yeah, it was pretty good. Filled with work as usual, but got to celebrate 2 birthdays 2 days in a row, so that was nice.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah. So did you have chocolate cake, vanilla cake? What'd you have?
Oh, I was spoiled. So Thursday.
Well, was it your birthday? Wait a second.
No. Okay. My birthday was about a month ago now.
Oh, okay.
No, there's one of the members that comes to the day hab I work at. Thursday was his birthday.
Wow.
And so we had cake and ice cream, and some pizza was brought in. One of my fellow staff members, Jeff, made an homemade Oreo ice cream cake.
Wow.
Crushed up the Oreos himself. So we had that Friday at work, and then one of my friends, his birthday was yesterday, so in the evening we had more cake.
Wow. Cake for breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Raspberry lemon cake.
Wow.
Sounds to me like you had your cake and ate it too.
Yeah, I did. Ha! Boom, boom. Yes. Oh.
That's awesome.
But yeah, it was a nice week. Thank you. I hope yours was nice too.
Yeah, it was good. It was busy. We've been saying that. I mean, it's been busy around here at Boston Connect Real Estate, and
That's a good thing.
Yeah, put another new listing on the market. I think what have we been doing, Mel? At least 1 or 2 for
my team.
A week. Yeah, then the office has been.
Yeah, the office has been really busy. We talk about our open houses at the end of the show every Saturday. Faith Birmingham, she put on a new listing, and it already has an accepted offer. So she canceled her open houses. Yeah. So, congratulations to her. I think she did 1 commuter open house, had quite a few private showings, and that already went under. So
yeah, that neighborhood is a really nice neighborhood in Abington. Yeah. Everybody likes to get in there. We had one over there a couple years ago over on Abigail. And
this one was on Olson. So
congratulations
to Faith and her clients and the buyers.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know Faith is doing an open house for me today over at Cushing Trails in Hanson. So if you want to go meet Faith in person, you can. She's over there from 10 to 12. So you can.
And have a little faith in the building process.
Gotta have faith.
Yeah, you gotta have faith.
Mary,
I love George Michael.
Mary, your team member, Mary Horton, joined me on Tuesday, and we talked about, sort of the process of purchasing new construction. So I think she put people's minds at ease when it comes to, everything that goes into purchasing new construction and the process and everything like that. So she's very this is the process. This is what we do type of thing. So, but yeah, so if you want to purchase new construction or you're interested in new construction, you can even, hang out with Faith today.
Yeah, absolutely. Or Mary, because Mary will be at our other development that we have in West Bridgewater with Stonebridge Homes, which is Cochise Estates. So she'll be there today from 10 to 2. So you can go and see her as well. And that's a mixture of single family. I think we have a couple single family left and townhomes. And then Hanson is just townhouses, condos. Yeah. So what's the dealio for today?
Well, like we always say, we come up with our topics pretty much in our everyday business and everyday life here at the office or in your business every day. So, we're sort of meeting you, probably specifically, Sharon, where you're at in your business after all these years. And that's sort of helping people, helping your clients sell their parents' homes. So whether it's because they're going into assisted living, perhaps there was a death, for some reason, the past couple of years, you have been helping so many families transition, helping their parents sell their home. Yep. Sometimes they are still alive and sometimes they have already passed. So the process is a little bit different for both of those, but that's sort of kind of like, I don't even know how to say it. Like, I don't want to say it's your niche right now, but it's like,
is it niche or niche?
Niche.
What does everybody say? Niche sounds so much nicer.
But it's like, it's where your business sort of has taken you in the past couple of years is really helping, people transition. And I know that you call yourself the sandwich generation. So you, also help your dad, and he's in assisted living now. So maybe it's because you're in that transition too, that like you feel sort of.
Yeah, it's, I have to tell you, of all the steps and different stages of my career for the last 22 years, it has grown with me, and I think what makes makes me a good agent at the time when I'm dealing with people is if I can make it relative to what I'm going through as well, or something I've been through. So if you think about it, when the girls were younger, I was helping people, get into maybe their first home or into their second home, leaving the condo, going into the second home. And then from there it was, I need the bigger home and I want the swimming pool and I want the, the cul-de-sac, and helping people do that. I've had friends, my girlfriend, Karen Monroe, who was on the show last week, she called in, I helped her like move from the city into, the suburbs, so to speak, and like just helping people and being relative to like helping them. And I would say like last year in going through, the process with my father, and I will openly talk about it, I guess, for the first time really. And I'll say exactly, my father was diagnosed with Lewy body dementia last year. And right at the end of the year, sort of, right? Like in December. And it's interesting because there are so many stages of that you don't, sometimes I'm beating myself up, and as I'm reading our agenda, it like the very first thing is like, oh gosh, I wish I had been better at that. So I think where I am right now, and Mel, honestly, as we're sitting here right now, and I my plan was to do a little research on this, but I had some things I had to take care of last night and first thing this morning, so I didn't get a chance to do it. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 in the past year of people.
I can think of the other one on the water in Pembroke.
Oh, yeah. Okay, yep.
That's sort of...
Yeah, so like 9, right? So like we have like 9, I've helped 9 different people in the past year and a half or so, in this process. Some, their parents are moving to... Look, you're thinking of them too, right?
Yeah.
Moving to assisted living. That's the next step. Yep. And... what was it? And then there are some who parents have, passed away, or maybe one parent has passed away. So it's very interesting to me that, of all, I'm going to start crying.
Why?
I don't know.
Well, you've helped so many clients and families transition into all stages in their life. So like you said in the beginning, they started off with the condo or the small ranch, and then, their lives changed and they wanted the bigger colonial or, Cape, and they wanted the cul-de-sac. They wanted, all those things. And then you see them through
Exciting times.
Yeah, their whole stages in life. And that is a stage too, whether you're going into assisted living or, somebody has passed, that is a stage in life as well. So, in the past year or two, you've definitely seen that part of life probably a lot more than you had before.
Yeah. And, it's interesting because all those other stages, as you were just talking about it, and I'm trying to understand why I'm so emotional right now, is because all those other stages, and again, there were some things that weren't so happy that were mixed in there, like divorce and stuff like that. But those generally are exciting times. And I have to tell you, this process is probably the most this stage of what I've been working with is probably the most rewarding. Rewarding, if we're going to call it a niche, but I hate that as well. But like where I am helping people right now. And again, we talk about this all the time. I don't consider it selling a house. I consider it helping people, right? So I'm helping people where they are. This to me is the most rewarding chapter of my career, to be helping these people. And last night, actually, that's another one, right? So they're sort of doing it on their own, but they're older and, they're right sizing into something a little easier and moving over to Oak Point. And, I was talking to the people I was showing the house to last night. It was a second showing for them, and I was talking to the wife, and something had come up about, my dad and, going through that. And I was like, yeah, I just feel as if, going through those processes with him and fully understanding what was going on when I didn't fully understand what was going on. He was on his own in January. That it made me a better agent for my clients who need me now. Right. So, so, and there's another one, so anyways, that's what we're going to be talking about today is the essential tips for selling your parents' home or maybe even your own home and getting yourself prepared. And for my listeners who have been listening to me for several years and also listen to McNamara on Money, which is on After Me, that's my brother-in-law show where I got my start. 20 years ago. His daughter, Alyssa, previous to COVID, we did the seminars that were called Financially Secure Women. And we would do events like at Ember, and we would have, myself and myself as the real estate agent, Alyssa as the financial expert, and we would have an insurance person and a couple of different types of attorneys, and we would go over different steps. And it was all women, and they had the ability to ask questions that they weren't sure of. Maybe they just lost a spouse. Maybe some of them were younger, just got divorced, and helping them through that process. Or some who were in there, actually, now that I think back, had lost their parents and they were thinking about this process. Why did I bring that up?
I don't know. Why did you bring it up?
I don't know, but it was we should bring it back is what I should say.
Yeah.
But I guess that's, sort of where, my mindset was even years ago, trying to think about this process. And again, sorry to get so emotional, people, but it's like when I was with that woman last night, she's like, oh my gosh, she's like, and again, I never toot my own horn, and I'm not even saying that this is true, but she was like, you know what? I feel as if God brings you into people's life. And I was like, oh my gosh, I never thought it was that real. Like, that's a big job. If God gives you a job, boy, that's a hefty boss.
Yeah. You better do it.
I better do it. And I am doing my best. And again, when I got emotional, it is because I'm thinking about every single family that I've sat with, and they either recently lost their mom or they're in the process of knowing that mom or dad has to go into assisted living, or, one of my favorite clients right now. I met him at an open house, 15 years ago, and he's selling his mom's house because she's in assisted living, and helping her through the process and trying to help find him and secure some housing. It's nice to. So many people think, oh, what do real estate agents do? They put a sign out in the front yard, and then the house sells itself. Yeah. It's so nice to be able to be very, and I will say, it's intimate with these people in a way of really getting deep into their emotions.
If it was that easy, I don't think that this job would be as stressful.
That's a good one.
Like, if it was just that easy, I mean, I feel like we would be a lot maybe happier. But no, I like I said, I feel like your business life has also sort of intermingled with your personal life as well. And I think I did a show, I believe, with Ginny Wandell a couple months ago, just meeting your clients where they're at. And we just discussed, like, a lot of the times the things that are happening in our life, you get attracted to those types of things in your business as well. So, with everything going on with your dad and, the transition of life that's going on there, I'm not surprised that that's also sort of manifesting in your business world as well. So,
yeah, absolutely. And, it's interesting because a previous that was a big P there. It's a previous client of mine, the daughter called me, and her dad, it was a second marriage, her dad mom had passed away, and I sold him this house 22 years ago, I would guess, 21 years ago when I first got into the business. And he was insistent in, calling me and getting me into the house. And when I saw him, and I'd say that, like, I've been in touch with, his wife and stuff over the years, because she had a catering business, and I always like to use my clients when I can for whatever services they have. And, she basically took care of all that. I've stopped by the house to see them and everything. And when I walked in the house, Mel, I just looked at him, and he had this big smile, and I just gave him a great big hug, and the son looked at me and he goes, "This is just so surprising to me because he doesn't really like people."
And you were like, yeah, but people like me.
Yeah,
so.
But he loves me, and I love him too. And again, that's what they're thinking, like, how long can dad stay here by themselves? And I want to let people know too, like, the guilt of it, I get it, because the most difficult decision I made is the one that I did make. And, you don't realize that you are the adult in your parent situation until you have to make big decisions like that. So,
yeah. The other, decision that we come across with, clients is, if they have a space in their own home as well, modifying their home in order for their parents to come in, or parent to come in to theirs. So it's not just assisted living. It's not just, transitioning after somebody has passed, but also making the decision to have them move in. So, I mean, there's been times, that's why people look for houses with in-laws or in-law potential, or homes that could, have an addition off the side. Those are all things that people consider at certain stages in their life as well. So,
yeah. Oh, actually, and here's another one. Is this the one that I just went to yesterday?
No.
Yeah, so
that's
there's
the one that
another
was
one
on the water.
Yeah, so this is another one in Pembroke I just went to the other day, and I was referred to them as well, and I went and looked at their house. And again, I think we'll get into this. So making the decision to move a loved one into assisted living, and I know that these are difficult conversations to have, but while your parents maybe still have their wits about them, I'll say, you know what I mean? Or they're still shopper's attack. I hear that all the time, right? Have these difficult conversations with them. I am going to let you know every single one of them are going to see you. I plan on dying in this. That I'm telling you, every single one of them are going to say that. I know that they are going to beg and plead with you to not do that. And that's where I don't think that the parent understands that when the words they use are how they're hitting us as their child. Please don't do this to me.
Yeah.
I'm like, Dad, like, and then I finally got to the point, and Mel, I'm going to cry again. Like, you have been with me through the whole thing. Mm-hmm. And I appreciate you.
Oh, I appreciate you too.
And just picking up the pieces for me when I couldn't, because my dad, what is the most important thing to me? So, it was like the whole thing, like trying on my own to like move his apartment and to do these different things, and like, and Mary taking over, like, of course, like, a lot of different things too, like with our real estate aspect of things. And it was just like, trying to please, daddy's little girl always. It doesn't matter that you're 56. And it's like trying to please him. But I did, you saw it, right? Mm-hmm. And I know his doctors saw it in me too, that, it's the doctor's appointments, it's all of these things. And the reason why I brought up earlier the financially secure women is because our tagline was, you want to leave a legacy, not a burden.
Yeah.
And people will say, my dad will say to me, I don't want to be a burden. I don't want to be a burden. And of course you're not a burden. Like, and if you took care of me, I'm taking care of you to the best of my ability. But his doctors even recognized in me last year, like, hey, I'm running a business. I run 2 businesses, right? Mm-hmm. So, and then, my girls, being there for my girls and my husband, and, all the things that come in between. And you put your own health on the back burner because there's so many freaking doctor's appointments for seniors. Mm-hmm. The paperwork is insane, right?
Yeah.
And, that woman said to me yesterday, she goes, you should become an advocate for senior citizens, for seniors who are going through these processes and help them. Yeah. So maybe I'll have a 3rd job. Who knows? But the thing that was difficult was I did get to the point, I'm being transparent and raw with our listeners right now. I got to the point where taking care of him by myself was killing me. Mm-hmm. And, maybe I was hiding as much as he was, that he wasn't capable to take care of himself. Mm-hmm. And my house is not set up. I know that people are going to say that, well, why didn't you bring him to your house? I tried that for a month, remember?
Yeah. It was tough. I mean, your house is not set up for somebody who can't go up and down the stairs. You have a cape. You don't have a first floor full bathroom. You don't have a bedroom. You don't, it's just not set up. And, I mean, when you tell somebody you can't go up the stairs and then you find them upstairs. Yeah,
exactly. I know that's a story.
Problem. There's a problem there.
Yeah. When I was like, all right, Dad, you're all set up. You've had your breakfast. You're all showered. You're taken care of. Like, here, just watch TV. And there's a sandwich in the refrigerator for you. I'm going up to the office for a few hours. I'll come home, and you make sure you're all, good. You're all set. You don't have to do anything. Don't go upstairs. Don't go downstairs. Don't go outside. And I remember the day I was in the office, and I was like, I'm just going to head back a little early and see what's, just check in on him, and then I'll go to my next appointment. Upstairs taking a shower.
Yeah, he had already had a shower.
Yeah. So
he was upstairs by himself taking a shower.
And all I could think of is, gosh, what if I came home and he was like at the bottom of the stairs?
Your stairs are right at where the bathroom is.
Yep.
So, you come out the bathroom and you can, take a tumble. But, so your house is just not set up for somebody. And not to be whatever, Sharon, there's going to come a day where you and Mark have to make a decision about your home and, with the girls where, you guys aren't going to be able to stay there at one point because, going up and down the stairs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, maybe.
You look at me like,
I don't care. That's their problem. They'll have to figure it out. No, I'm going to leave them a legacy, not a burden. If you have any comments about this subject, we would love to hear from you. Again, Tim, I'm sorry. I cried on TV,
no,
on radio.
Don't be sorry. Never apologize for being a real person. It's okay.
You. Yeah, and Tim, I mean, you sort of work in a field that's similar, right? I mean, not with seniors. You're working with seniors as well, or
I have people all ages. Some that attend are younger than me, and some are older. And I see with some of our older clients, members that attend. Excuse me, try not to call them clients. They have various stages of dementia. There's a woman that comes there. I look at her and she reminds me of my grandmother, but that's kind of where it stops. Sadly, she had a little bit of a rough life with her mate, and that stuck with her. And she, like I said, she's a sweetheart, but don't mess with her. Don't get on her bad side, because but it's challenging sometimes. And I have other people, they have their good days and they have their bad days, and it's just. But I understand, Sharon, and my parents are getting up there too. They're still doing all right, but I know that something like this is coming along for me too, and.
And that's why I think we're gonna do some classes on this. And I have a client that I'm working with right now, and their parents' home is going to be coming on the market in a couple weeks. And I asked her and her sister. I'm actually selling one of her houses right now, and here's the story. I mean, they were selling their house. They had another house that they were renovating and putting an in-law into, and unfortunately, the mom was on her own, but unfortunately the mom passed away. So now I'm going to be selling that house for them, her and her siblings, and they're so good. Like, they have these checklists, they have like Google Docs, like all over the place, so organized. But the stresses that I see people going through, it is real, and that's one of the things where I'm like, we want to leave a legacy and not a burden. And I promise my kids, like, I will not have all that stuff just there, because it's, the emotional aspect of things of, you're looking at a glass vase and you're like, I'm just going to throw that away. And mom is looking at, hey, that's when, your father on our 50th wedding anniversary gave me the most beautiful flowers. Lo and behold, my father is calling me right now. Yeah. So,
I just want to say that a lot of the times, these conversations happen too late.
Yes.
And, I think that the class or whatever it is that we need to do is sort of when to know the signs to have the conversation before it might be too late. So whether it's, they do have dementia, or they have, some sort of ailment where they're not able to, communicate or advocate for themselves, and that's really terrible. And or if it's too late because somebody has passed.
Yeah. And this is such a good point, Mel, because you saw my dad, a lot too, you know what I mean? And he was driving and everything was great. I mean, literally great. And it's interesting. I guess one of my tips would be for anybody who has parents who are aging, and even in the 70s, right? Which doesn't sound old, but you know what I mean? And for the 70-year-olds who are listening to me right now, don't get offended by that. But, sometimes the earlier signs, the earlier you can pick up on things, the better it is for you.
Yeah.
So my biggest tip would be for anybody who is in my age group. So I'm 56. Anyone who has, parents that are older, or even aunts or whoever, have dinner with them, visit them, but have dinner at 4 o'clock. Maybe go over there at 3 o'clock and start having dinner, and make this like a ritual, maybe once a month. They're going to enjoy it. You're going to enjoy it. And then, if you go over there and start cooking and getting things ready, hey, we're going to have an early dinner. Maybe you start preparing stuff at 4 o'clock. At least if you see them at 3, and again, I am not a medical expert. I am giving you this from a caregiver's point of view, okay? Maybe, and then when you're cooking the dinner, then now it's 4 o'clock, and now you're, cooking dinner, and now you're sitting down to dinner. Now it's 5 o'clock, and that's when you're going to start to see things. Sundowning is such a real thing, and that's when I started picking up on things with my dad. So that would be my suggestion for everybody to do. If you have questions, comments, anything about this topic, we would love to hear from you. I promise not to cry in your ear anymore. 781-837-4900, 781-837-4900.
I thought of another one.
Oh, you did?
The Meadows.
Oh, yeah. Yep. So, we just keep on writing them down, and I've been seeing this a lot. And one of the things, so I just put a new listing on the market. Actually, we had a couple showings yesterday, and as we're sitting here, I got a text from the agent to let me know that she did put an offer in on it.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, so, but I am doing the open house today, so that will be from 10 to 12. I'll be at 36 Patriot Way at Center Commons in Pembroke. which is awesome. It's a 55 plus. Only one person has to be 55, just so you know. But these people, it's his house now. It's in his name. His mom was living there, and then they noticed some medical needs for her. They live in Arizona. She moved out to Arizona for the last 2 years of her wonderful, long-lived life of 92.
Wow.
Yep. So recently passed away, and he came home back here because they grew up here. Both of them did, and they were just overwhelmed with all of Mom's stuff, all of Mom's treasures. And, the wife was she was adorable, very cute. And she's like, look at all of these, like, glasses, like water glasses, like just drinks, to drink water. She's like, she was one person. Like, there was hundreds.
I feel that same way. I mean, I'm 33, okay? And now that my boyfriend lives with me, now there's 2 of us, but I have all these glasses, and I'm like, why did I buy these? Like, we use the same glass over and over again.
Over and over, yep. But there was a lot of stuff. But as I was sitting with them, and Mel, I sent you a text last night because I was talking to Mark a little bit about this. But literally everything they needed, I was like, I got a guy, I got a guy, I got a girl, I got a guy, whatever. I'm not here to, make anybody.
Have someone.
I have somebody. I have a person. I have a human that can do that. And when she was leaving, they were leaving for the airport at 9 a.m. on, I think it was Friday or Thursday, and I went over there, and it was actually Wednesday.
We did the photos.
Yeah, I did the same day we did the photos, and I just wanted to, send them off. Hey, don't worry about a thing. I have everything taken care of here while you're there. I am your lifeline while you're in Arizona. And she just gave me a big hug, and she's like, I can't thank you enough for being able to get this, like, wrapped up for us. And honestly, I met with them on, I think, like a Monday or something.
Yeah. It was very fast and furious.
Yeah, I think I met with them Monday.
Yeah.
And before you know it, the whole entire house was completely empty. I had the photographer there Wednesday. The cleaning people were there on Thursday. We had it on the market, had our first showing yesterday, and lo and behold, we now have an offer. So again, 781-837-4900. I'd love to hear from you if you've been through this process of, helping a loved one. Specifically, we're talking about parents, but any loved one, from moving from their home because of medical or, a death in the family or something like that. So one of the things is recognizing the signs, and we did talk about that. And one of the things you have to think about, too, is the safety concerns. And ultimately, that's where it ended up getting for me with my dad, was the safety concerns, because, I had this little machine. And actually, I'm going to announce this, too. If you could call into the studio, 781-837-4900, to any of our listeners. If anybody is in need of one of those pill dispenser machines. It's round, and my dad has to take medicine 3 times a day. And it would say, time to take your medicine, time to take your medicine. So you set it all up, you put the medicine in there for the week, 9 days, whatever it is. And then it just flips over, and the pill, then they know how to take their pills.
Yeah.
So if anybody needs one of those, please call the studio and leave Tim your phone number for me. And I'm happy to, donate that your way, because he can't use that anymore. That was our final straw when he couldn't figure that out. I said, now it's a safety issue. He can't take his medicine.
Yeah. Yeah.
And having the conversation, again, approach it with empathy, right?
Yeah. This whole situation, you should approach it with empathy. And everyone is stubborn throughout their life, okay? But you get to a point where, you might be a little bit more stubborn towards, your older years. And that is definitely a conversation that you have to have with your loved ones, and just be honest, and, again, come from a place of empathy, but also say, this is where we are seeing you in your life, your position.
And, one of the hard things, too, I know, and we're not talking about this really, is the first time you have to take the keys away from a parent, that will test you for sure. But I do remember, you have to let them know that they're doing this for the safety of others as well, right? So, and then, I think we can get into this another time, and maybe I'll have, a guest on when we're talking about choosing the right facility. And, in some instances, you don't have a choice, and, going through that Medicaid process and Medicare process. I'm also going to have her on, Ray Woodford, and she is from Abington. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to have her on the show. She's wonderful, helping people to get onto Mass Health, which is also, it's Medicaid, but Mass Health. And, when you are in that process of having Medicaid and Mass Health, because these facilities are expensive, and that's why you want to think about things sooner than later, before they get in there, like how is it going to be paid for? And then with Medicaid and Mass Health, there is a process to that. But generally speaking, you don't have that opportunity to just say, this is where I want to be, and that's where I'm going to go if you are on getting services from the state. So I am very fortunate that I was able to, my dad he went from the hospital to rehab in Kingston, and they from there he was able to stay. They had a bed that opened up, and he was able to stay in more permanent care. So nursing facility for easy for me to say, nursing care, skilled nursing. So I'm very fortunate. He's 3 miles away.
Yeah, he's right down the street, and he still uses the phone.
Yes, he does.
He still knows how to use the phone. So.
Well, I wouldn't go as far as saying he knows how to use it, but he certainly does use it.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of financial and legal considerations. I am not going to hit upon these really too much, only I am... Sorry, I just saw something and it sort of threw me. But I'm not going to get into the legalities of it. I will have an attorney on with estate, planning and things like that. So I will have an opportunity to discuss that with you with a guest, so we can talk about the legal things that go along with that, and getting having a will prepared, a irrevocable trust, and all of those things that you need to do are very, very important. So we will continue this topic, and not next Saturday, because I will not be here next Saturday, but maybe the Saturday after that, we can plan to have some guests on to talk about the aspect of it. And one of the things that I'd like to do too is bring back David Tortolot. I was talking to him this week about reverse mortgages, and talking to him about that process of, let's just say a client has a house and they had a reverse mortgage, and now they're moving into assisted living, and what do the kids do in that situation? In the interim to get that house sold. So,
getting back to preparing the house. So this is in a scenario where the parent has already left the house. Maybe they've gone into the assisted living and everything. And what do you do with their stuff afterwards? So. The first part of the process would probably be having, Sharon come to the house and assess the property. So anything, you are doing a thorough assessment of the condition of the house. If there's things that need to be done to the house, are you just, you have to make the decision, do you do those things, or do you sell the property as is? You get to the point where if you're selling the property as is, you have to know what the value is there, because if for some reason you your parents owe a certain amount on the house and perhaps it's not worth that, those are the types of conversations that you have to have with, your agents or any professionals that you have during the process. And so assessing the property. So, think about the houses that you've gone to in the past, even couple weeks, of people that you're helping in transition in this process, and how different each property is.
Every single one is different. Every single one is different. One of the biggest questions I have is, sometimes the kids are already, or the grandkids in most instances, they're the ones in need of furniture. Oh, my son wants to take this couch, or my son wants to take this, and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, if people are willing to take this stuff now, then let them take it. I know everybody's worried about the staging aspect of things, But honestly, I would rather see, and I don't even care in in these instances, by the way, I don't care if if one room is empty and one room has furniture in it. I don't care. But what I don't want is like one TV stand and a TV in the middle of the living room. So then now you get rid of everything. But those are the types of things when I'm walking through a house with somebody. And a lot of times I'm taking pictures of items. They're like, we don't know what to do with this. We don't know what to do with that. Sometimes the people will want to buy it with it in there. But the other thing is, we have our Facebook page, and a lot of times I'm like throwing things up on our Facebook page because we have a lot of first-time clients as well, like first-time home buyers that need things, anything. So we can usually help get rid of those things.
Yeah, I met Brian, the photographer, on Wednesday at your new listing on Patriot, and I was upstairs and talking to you about some of the furniture that was up there, and Brian just goes from downstairs. He goes, "Getting more furniture?" And I'm like, "Yeah." It seems like every time I meet him, I end up with a piece of furniture from one of your listings. But you know what? I think of it as
repurposing.
These I ended up taking 2 little dressers from your new listing, and I did have permission to take them.
Yes. We would never in a million years.
Yeah, that this woman loved these pieces. She had an entire set of Ethan Allen things that are made out of real wood. I just said the other day, I was like, do companies make furniture out of real wood anymore? Yeah. So any piece of real wood that I come across, I'm like, I really like this.
Well, and it was sort of your vibe too. Yeah,
it was my vibe. Yeah. But it's not just you're inviting people into your home, but also, they will love the things that you loved too. So I always appreciate anything that I get.
And that is the thing too, is, you want your loved ones, if they are still alive, they love the fact that these items are going to somebody else too, and that they're being repurposed.
Yeah. And even the house that I bought, she was transitioning to a different, stage in her life as well. She ended up moving in with one of her adult daughters, correct?
I think they were fighting over her.
They were fighting over her. But there was a piece of furniture in the house that I bought that I just completely fell in love with. And, I asked you, I said, I would love to purchase this. And she ended up just giving it to me. And it was a piece of furniture that she got from her wedding. She had gotten, a whole bedroom set for their wedding. They probably was married in the 50s or the 60s. And it was like the last piece that was left, and she was like, but part of the reason why I got my house is because she knew that I would take care of it and love it like they did. So I think of her pretty much every time I see my little dresser, and I am taking care of it. But
you'll have to take a picture of it and send it to her.
Yeah, I will. I will. I don't know where I was going with that, but
well, I think just the importance of being able to get some of the things out, and then there are some of the houses too that I go into, and there are a lot of things. I started saying this, but I do want to have a radio show. This one will be fun. Tim, you're going to have fun with this one when we do it. So we'll definitely do it on a Saturday because Tim can keep up with the phone lines, right?
Yes, I can.
Yes.
Bring it on.
So I was like, I got a guy, or I got a human. I have a human that can do it. And then I want people to call in and say, all right, do you have a human for a dumpster? And then I can go through and scroll through and, yep, I got a guy for a dumpster. And then let people call in and see who can trip us up. And then if they call in, we'll give them like a $5 gift card to Dunkin's.
Oh my gosh, I have so many $5 and $10 gift cards.
Yeah.
So
and
as the show goes on,
as they stump us.
As the show goes on, we'll up the stakes.
Yeah.
But try to stump us.
Yeah,
we'll do that show in a couple weeks.
Yeah, that will be fun, don't you think?
Yeah.
I got a human that can do that. Okay, 781-837-4900. We only have about 8 minutes left, which really we only have about 3 to 4 minutes left because we want to be sure to talk about some of our open houses this weekend.
It's just you.
Oh, really? Yeah. I'm the only one working this weekend, huh? Well, if I had known
we said that Faith is doing,
yeah.
And I'm sure Kristen's probably doing Sunday.
No, Kristen's away.
Oh.
Isn't she? Yeah, she's at a wedding. Yep. Okay, so the financial planning part of it, I think, is really, really important. And I would say that sort of gets mixed into the legal part of it, too. Does someone have a question?
Nope.
Okay.
I'm just looking at Kristen's doing tomorrow.
the legal aspect of things, but having, discussing things with your financial planner is very, very important. So certainly I will get in touch with the McNamara Financial crew and see who can join me on a show to discuss that aspect of it, because I'm sure that they have a lot of clients, that go into that next chapter of their life too, and how they can prepare to leave a legacy and not a burden. Because, one of the things is like how it's difficult with the sandwich generation, because these facilities are so expensive. And even if you do sell, if you sell mom or dad's home, how long is that going to bring them into the future, into assisted living? Or if mom or dad got a reverse mortgage, is that going to be enough once you pay that off? Is that going to be enough to bring mom and dad into, assisted living and into another facility? Because if not, you certainly want to be thinking about these things well before they happen, because if not, then you and your family have to come up with some other plans and some other ideas of what you're going to do, once the house is sold. Are they going to, like the people with your house, Melissa, there was the 3 sisters and each one of them wanted mom, so.
Well, I was just going to say, and I thought you were going with how many offers that my house got, but during the whole process of selling, regardless of if the parents are alive or not, every single person who's making a decision during the process needs to be there every step of the way. So it's getting the real estate agent, it's decluttering or, clearing out the property, deciding whether or not that you are going to make improvements on it. If there are going to be making improvements on it, where's that money coming from? Those are all discussions that every single person who is supposed to have a decision or a decision maker, during the process needs to be a part of. Mm-hmm. They're going to be a part of the offers, going through the offers and, making the final decision. Mm-hmm. It's not just, where are we going to put mom and dad? It's being there through the entire process. Mm-hmm. We do have a couple questions. Love this whole topic. Rue, love this whole topic. So many adult children have to make hard choices in unexpected situations. Thank you for sharing this. Yes. And then also we have...
that's my friend Rue she is a full-time real estate agent in Orlando, Florida. She's one of my friends from Clubhouse. I'm just going to stop saying that from now on. I'm just going to say this is my friend Rue from Orlando. So.
And then Iris says, hello from Miami, Florida.
Yes, Miami. I love Iris too. She is also one of my friends from Clubhouse, and I'll stop saying from Clubhouse. They're just my friends. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You know where they're from? One is from Orlando and one is from Miami. And honestly, both of them are wonderful, wonderful people, wonderful agents. So if you are thinking about moving to Florida, I have a human. I have a human.
You have a couple humans.
I have a couple humans.
You're
that
going to Miami
to.
on Tuesday. Well, you're flying through Miami. Maybe she can meet you at the airport.
Yeah.
You can wave to each other.
Yeah, I will. Iris, if you want to say hello to me, I'll be in Miami for about 1 hour on my next flight.
You have a small window, Iris.
A little window, yes.
Any sort of... I feel like we could do an entire show about maybe even the legal aspects of the whole thing. We should... Remember that show that we did with... Alyssa McNamara, but we also did it with 3 attorney women, just going over different stages of your life. Yeah, we'll have to hook up with Alyssa at one point.
I know. I don't know who's doing their show later. Tim, do you know? Are they in studio today?
Yes, they are. I can see the man himself, Mr. Mike McNamara.
Mr. Michael McNamara.
Yes.
We'll let him know we're talking about him. We're talking about their show.
He's got the headphones on. He knows what's going on.
Captain Mike. Yeah. Can you pipe him in for a sec?
Yes, of course.
Hello, hello.
Hello. Hey, hi, how are you?
Just fine. Getting ready for the little trip, are you, Sharon?
I am, as are you, so I can't wait to see you there. And you know what? I only have a few minutes left until you start your show, and obviously I want you to tell what your topic will be. But, Michael, this topic that we have, I mean, you must see this a lot with your clients, right? That... but the majority of them prepared for when mom or dad has to go to assisted living or when mom or dad decease and the home has to be sold? Are things generally in order, or are you seeing more so not?
We work with a reasonably motivated bunch of folks on their finances, and by the way, most of them aren't prepared. So it's an extremely huge and complicated product, and it comes right down to the individual person and honestly, it's a very difficult shuffle to make it work for as long as you live. That's the short story, and you'd have to talk about individual people and situations, but no one answer, and they're all really difficult.
Well, maybe, we can combine our shows one day, because I don't even think that 1 hour would be enough, but we could talk about, all those aspects and help all of our WATD listeners sort of get ready for that, because, Michael, I just did a quick list. I don't know if you were listening, but like in the last year, I've helped over, 12 people in this process of, either going into assisted living, and for the most part, none of them were prepared for this. So I would love to have that conversation with, what are the consequences when you're not prepared, where you can talk about why you should be prepared and how you can help them with that. But I have 1 minute until your show starts. Why don't you tell everybody what your topic is?
I'm going to explain the very poor financial shape that the U.S. Government and country is in, and that if we don't get going with some solutions, we're heading for a really bad time sometime in the not too distant future.
Well, I will be tuning in.
I'm going to try to educate folks about the complexity of the problem and the deep trouble that we're in financially, getting worse by the moment.
All right. Well, that doesn't sound like a fun one, but it will be very interesting and informative. So to all our listeners, please stay tuned in. Michael McNamara from McNamara Financial and McNamara Money will be up next. He's going to be talking about that very serious topic. I will be back possibly, I'll be back in a week or so, because I'm taking a trip. So thanks, Mel. Have a great day. Tim, thanks so much. I'll see you in a couple weeks.
Could you be mine? I have always wanted to have a neighbor just like you. I've always wanted to